Hey guys, what's up? It is finally here, my Carve the Mark review. It's going to be spoiler free and I may actually rant a little bit, and you probably know what it's going to be about if you follow me on Twitter or even Instagram. So, Carve the Mark is a new duology by Veronica Roth. It is a space opera duology, which is totally different from what Veronica Roth has originally done before. It stars Sira and Akos. Sira is a Shotet and Akos is Thuvet. And their races and their ways of living are completely different. Sira is a teenage girl who has had this horrible gift for almost all of her life, and this gift has her dealing with pain all the time. It literally shows on her arms and her body as black lines that just kind of have their own motion. The black lines normally appear when she is kind of agitated or, getting very emotional. And her brother, Ryac, after their family dies, it's pretty much just the two of them, her brother Ryac really uses this gift to his own advantage to actually control the Shotet land and to actually gain his own control of ruling basically the entire galaxy if he wanted to. Akos is stolen from his home and is taken to the Shotet lands, where he is now kind of like a soldier for the Novak family. And he actually becomes Sira's slave. And what he does, his current gift allows him to, take control of things himself. Like, he can't feel Sira's pain. So what he does to help control her pain and to make her appear normal in the public eye, they touch each other, they hold hands, and the pain goes away. It doesn't go away 100%, it's normally just diminished. But the black lines don't appear, but when they're not touching each other, black lines will appear depending on her aggression or her emotional state. So what I want to talk about first is Sira and her pain. A lot of people lately have been saying that Veronica Roth is glorifying and beautifying chronic pain because the term gift is used for this pain, the pain that Sira has. Now, I deal with chronic pain on and off. I don't have it as much as anybody else does if, they're older. My mom has chronic pain, so I know what she goes through. I deal with chronic pain myself, and I, for one, was not offended by this chronic pain that was featured in the book because I didn't see it as being glorified or beautified. It was something that Sira did not want. She doesn't want this chronic pain. Who wants pain? Nobody wants pain. Unless you're just a, serial killer or something. When I read the passages and details and thoughts of Sira in this book, it became clear, she doesn't like having this gift, having these black lines all over her, having to hurt people under the order of her brother, having to feel pain herself. She does not want it. So, just because Veronica Roth calls it a gift doesn't mean it's something that Sira wants. Nobody wants chronic pain, so really, what Veronica Roth is doing is relating to people that have chronic pain. Nobody can help if they have chronic pain. You have it, you got it, you have to deal with it and treat it the way you can. And Sira really has no choice. She doesn't want it. She can't do anything about it, but it doesn't weaken her. It doesn't make her a weak person. That's another thing about Sira. Her strength really grows in the book. At first, she thinks she has to follow her brother Ryac's orders all the time. She's stuck in this family. But as the story progresses, she actually grows as a person and becomes one badass heroine in this book. It is amazing to see her characters grow and actually become strong. It's completely different from any character Veronica Roth has written before. Like, we know how Triss's character develops and the sacrifice she has to make in the series of Divergent. But Sira is completely different from Triss. Sira is just amazing. It was so powerful to read her chapters and how she grows and completely becomes her own person. And again, she does not let this gift of chronic pain stop her from becoming this strong heroine. And I think people really need to remember that. Another thing I want to talk about is Ryac and Asia. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but you get the deal. So Ryac and Asia are kind of partners unwillingly. Ryac believes that Asia has the power to basically predict the future, see things, kind of like an oracle. So what he does is Ryac and Asia basically trade memories so Ryac can get control of Asia's power. And what it does is it weakens Asia. By the way, if you didn't know, Asia is Akos' younger brother. And with this power that Ryac is doing, he is weakening Asia, and it's really sad to see how their characters basically just switch. And the problem with that is you would think that with them switching memories, Ryac would become, you know, a nicer brother with all these memories of family and all this other stuff. No, Ryac pretty much stays the same, and Asia just becomes like a tiny little clone. But what I saw near the end of the book is that they're somehow connected, and I have a very strong feeling that when the second book comes out, my prediction will come true of Asia and Ryac being too connected. If you kind of catch my drift, I don't want to spoil anything, but I really am scared to how this is going to work out in the second book, because they're still alive at the end of the book, but there's just something wrong with their connection and how they're actually, you know, taken over by Sierra and Akos and all that. So it makes me wonder how it's going to play out in the second book, and it's going to be really hard to read that because Akos really wants to take his younger brother home, but he can't do that because Ryac is just the key to getting Asia's memories back. And I think something very heartbreaking might happen in the second book, or they might realize something that I realized that has to be true. Otherwise, you know, what else could it be? But I won't talk about that. You have to read the book to figure out what I'm talking about. Another character I want to talk about is, of course, Akos. Akos is, he's kind of lanky in the beginning of the book, but then once he's captured, he actually gets stronger because they train him to be like this soldier. So, you know, he's gotten taller, he's gotten bulkier, so he actually looks like a man. And, of course, he's paired up with Sierra, so we all know how that's going to turn out. And their bond is really something else. It actually makes Akos stronger, and in the beginning, he's, you know, all worried about his family and grieving a lot over the loss of his family. But as he's in this Shotet land and he's become a soldier and basically follows Sierra around and, you know, protects her or whatever, it really makes him grow as a character, and he becomes stronger and more focused on one thing, which is, you know, saving his little brother. Actually, he's focused on another thing, Sierra, but, you know, we know that from the very beginning, and, you know, Veronica Roth, it's romance, whatever. It kind of brought me back to Divergent, because Four and Triss are just the perfect team together, and it just makes them stronger together, and it's the same with Sierra and Akos, but it's a whole different bond. Everything in this book just seems a lot stronger than the Divergent series. And I'm so sad it's just going to be 2 books, because there's a lot going on in this book. You're never bored when you're reading Carve the Mark. There's always something going on and always something that you want to happen. And really, I love that with Sierra and Akos' relationship, Veronica Roth really takes it slow. She doesn't rush into things. She doesn't, you know, have them, you know, hook up or whatever in the middle of the book. She really takes her time with their relationship. Another thing I want to talk about in this book is the details. You know, this is a space opera duology, and there's some scenes where they're actually like on this ship, and Veronica Roth describes just the beauty of space around them. Sierra especially enjoys the beauty of space around her. There are moments where the galaxy is like exploding in front of their very eyes, and it just, every time she brought up Akos and he wasn't that impressed, I'd be like, I would just think, are you crazy? You know, there's this space around you. It's basically exploding in your face, and you're not surprised or astounded by it. But the details Veronica Roth uses to describe the galaxy as if she's seen it herself, it's just so beautiful. I could actually picture it in my head like I was watching a movie or something. And all the details overall in this book are just so point on and just so amazing. It's like you're just watching it in front of you instead of just reading it in words. It's definitely something to pay attention to in this book. The last thing isn't really a specific detail in the book. It's just more criticism that I've heard before I even read this book. A lot of people were very upset that Veronica Roth seemed to come off as racist with her characters. And I don't know what book those people were reading, but I would really like to know who the person was that actually started all this, because I know for a fact, you know, I've seen original reviews from other booktubers who were given this book as an early copy, and they absolutely loved it. Then somewhere, you know, a month later, this one person decided to say, hey, Veronica Roth is racist. Hey, she is just, you know, showcasing the Shotet people as being just very violent, just like black people are, or whatever. And, you know, and also criticizing the chronic pain, how it's glorified or beautified or whatever. And as I was reading this book, I just kept thinking after I would pause or something, it's like, what book was this person reading? because I'm just, reading a wonderful book about two characters that are, growing as people. They're dealing with these awful things, but they're, growing together. And I didn't see anything about, racism in this book. I didn't see anything about, glorifying the wrong things. So I'm not sure who the person was that started all this, but it's absolutely ridiculous, because even if it was all white people, that would be a problem too, because, people want diversity in books. This is diversity. We have an interracial couple, and people are just complaining that, that Veronica Roth is being racist with the show tech people, and she's glorifying chronic pain. I mean, when did we start complaining about books? Why did we stop, enjoying the book, its plot, its storyline, its characters? Why do we have to nitpick everything? Why can't we be satisfied with what the story is about? Veronica Roth has never done anything bad in her book. She's never caused controversy until now, which is ridiculous, because, this is the most anticipated book of the year, and people are saying, oh, you can't read this because it's racist, or, it'd be wrong for you to support this author. I really don't see what's wrong with the book. I thought it was a beautiful book. I'm excited for the second book to come out, whenever that may be. And I applaud Veronica Roth for not publicly speaking out about this, because she did nothing wrong. You can't take things so personally when, you're supposed to be enjoying the book. You can't read between every single line. That just isn't how reading is. Reading is supposed to be art. This is art. Books are art. You're supposed to enjoy art, not criticize it. So whoever it is that started the criticism of Veronica Roth's Carve the Mark is just, I really can't describe it. But I really don't want that criticism to cause people to not want to read this book. I don't want them to be afraid to read this book, because this book is very, very powerful. It's very, very good. I found it to be beautiful, and some days I hated when I was so tired or just stuck with homework that I couldn't read it because I wanted to finish it. It was just so good. It was that good. And I applaud Veronica Roth for doing something different from her other work. I'm not trying to tell you what to read or what not to read, but I really don't want people to be discouraged from this book, because it's really beautiful. It's really amazing. The detail's amazing. The characters are amazing. And it's just a really good book. And whoever didn't like it or thought it was just problematic, then that's really too bad for them. So now you know my personal opinion and review about Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. And there you go. I'm not afraid to say I liked it, and I'm not afraid to give my honest review. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow my Instagram, follow my Twitter, like my Facebook, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!